show in the history of broadcast, you know.
I know, that's such an honor, though. That's such an amazing thing that you got to do that. It's
and I know that they really wanted that last word to be always.
Right, yes.
And if you look at that scene, you'll notice that I actually say something to her after she says always. And that was just how Kim and I worked, where we were often sort of bantering and ad-libbing with each other. And I think she said always, and I think I said something like, well, let's go then, you know, or something like that. And they edited out my voice because they really wanted the last word of the show to be always, which I think was wonderfully appropriate. You know, and then we weren't actually in the car for the big long shot that they took, where they panned back and there's the car and the lighthouse. We had left because I think we had to go back into the city to shoot at the broadcast center, at CBS Broadcast Center in Manhattan. So we had left, and they had somebody else get in the car for the long drive away with the big, beautiful shot where they pull away and there's the lighthouse, this car driving off. So it was a perfect day. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Kind of like the day we were talking about earlier where we shot that first wedding between the two of them.
Yes.
It just happened to be a perfect day. Happened to be a perfect day, and we got lucky.
Yeah. Well, Robert, it's such an honor to speak with you. It's fantastic. I really wish you the best of luck. I've seen some of your other stage work on YouTube and stuff. I saw you with Daddy Warbucks and Annie and a few things. And all I can say is just keep going for it. It's fantastic, and it's great that
Thank you.
I myself would love to see you in Phantom of the Opera playing Phantom. So if that ever happens. Oh,
yeah.
I'm not sure I could sing that role, but I appreciate that.
Brilliant for that.
that requires a different, that's a tenor. I'm sort of a baritone, but I'll keep it in mind.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, it was an honor to speak to you, and if you ever come down this way, you've always got someone who can show you around.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, Rob. See you later, Pam. See you. Have a good day,
Thanks
everyone.
for calling.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Rachel.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm glad we did this on the weekend for her, so she's not at work. She actually had taken off work one day to call into one of the shows.
Well, she sounds great. She's
wonderful.
Wow, Australia. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, next up we have David, but he's just from plain old New York.
That's okay. Is this a David I know?
No. Hey, Robert.
Know. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. Let me give it to straight. You're really missed.
Thank you.
And Josh and Reva were just one of those couples that probably live on for years. So my question is there any storyline that you had the most difficult time with, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I'm going to go back to the cloning storyline. I love that question because, when you say difficult, in my mind I hear the word challenging. I love being challenged. And I think if you look at, the plays that I've chosen to do since I left the show, if you look at the characters I played in primetime, I love it when I'm challenged in some way. But challenges can be different kinds of things. That you can be challenged because you're bored, as I was discussing earlier today with another show. You can be challenged because because you feel like the material's above you. If I were to turn around tomorrow to play Richard III, I would be greatly challenged. I haven't done Shakespeare in 30 years, but that would be a certain kind of a challenge. The cloning storyline, though, comes to mind because it was a turning point for me. I already described that moment with Paul Rausch in the office, and again, that was like on a Friday, and we were set to shoot the first script of that on Monday or Tuesday. And I remember going home that night and talking to my wife about it, and I was really, really ripped apart. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, how I'm going to get through this. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know what it's going to look like. And I really agonized over it for Friday. Saturday night, didn't sleep well. Somehow I woke up Sunday morning totally at peace about it. My wife was like, "What's up?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Somewhere in the night I realized that it's up to me to figure out how I'm going to respond to this. I can't do anything about the fact that they're writing the story. I could march in and say, I'm not doing this, I quit, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to shoot, no matter what, either way, I'm shooting this story. And I can either choose to hate it and fight it every step of the way and rant and rave about it and be miserable about it, or I can choose to dive in full on and attack this story, and I don't mean attack it in a way of tearing it apart or tearing it down. I mean, I can choose to just go for it 100%, and that's up to me. I can make that choice, and I'm going to make that choice right now. I'm just going to embrace the story and go for it 100%. I'm not responsible for it. I didn't write it. It's not my idea. I'm just the actor who's playing the role. So I'm going to go for this. And they had that wonderful actor. I need to get his name in my head. Peter. Yeah, I can't think of his name. Who played the doctor. Yeah, I remember. The doctor who cloned Reva. And he and I, met that morning for the first few scenes, and we had this discussion. And he was also like, I don't know what we're doing with the story. I don't know, And we talked about this whole idea of like, let's just dive in and do it 100% and see how, and it's just going to be what it is, and we did, and that was really a turning point for me as an actor, even because I realized once I justified the clone storyline in my own head and just went ahead and dove in and did it, I can do anything.
Oh, definitely.
And I think it really frees you up as an actor to just do anything that's thrown at you and go, okay, I can do this and I can make it work, and I can find the truth and I can find honesty, and I can make this happen. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of my greatest challenges, but I think it was also one of my most memorable moments in my career of making that turn. And just being free to just do the role, play the role, do what's printed on the page, and don't worry about whether the fans are going to like it or not like it. Don't worry about whether it's going to be ridiculed or not. Just go and commit to it 100% and have a good time while you're doing it. Geez, it's not brain surgery.
Right.
We're not curing cancer here. We're telling a story. So tell the story.
Good answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's inspiring. Thank you very much for speaking to me.
Sure. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and I miss New York terribly. I'll be back in a few days.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn and Pam.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, next up we have Tracy. And bear with her if she can't breathe, because first of all, she's going to talk to you. Second of all, she's in the middle of doing her wedding preparations. And third, she's buying a house like a crazy woman, all at the same time.
Okay.
So here's Tracy from Florida.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? When's your wedding?
My wedding's January 27th.
January 27th. Oh, well, you got a little bit of time.
Yeah. Just about. My birthday's December 27th, and then we have another party in the beginning of the year, so it's crazy.
Okay. Well, good luck to you.
Thanks. I'm talking to Josh.
See?
That's okay. I'm so sorry.
Listen, I just wish for you in your marriage that you do better than Josh did. In his 9 marriages.
Oh my God! I was very, very composed before, and now I'm just losing it. Okay. First, I wanted to say I love seeing you in Criminal Minds. It was really nice to see you in a different role, in Prize Time and everything. That was great.
Thank you very much.
Secondly, we heard about, you're talking about the most difficult storylines that you had to do. I wanted to know what was your favorite storyline that you did in all those years. Mine, I love seeing the Reva postpartum depression storyline, when she drove off the cliff. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys really, hit that out of the box. It was fantastic. I mean, just watching Josh, search for her, die for her, it was just heartbreaking. And I wanted to know what was your favorite.
That was a good one. That was a good one, and that one was followed by the very short-lived Josh Harley relationship.
Josh and Harley, yep.
I'm amazed at how many fans say to me, "Oh, I remember Josh and Harley. Oh, that was such a great." And I'm like, "Boy, that felt like it was like a heartbeat moment, So compared to the rest of the bulk of the work, that was so quick." But those were great times. I mean, my general answer to that question has really never changed. It's always been what Kim and I always refer to as the cat on the hot tin roof story, which was Josh in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Reva married to HB.
Yes.
I'm thinking about scenes where they made it rain, the scenes where Reva, got him to walk again by, I guess, basically having sex with him, which is fabulous. But, to me, that whole story, beginning with Josh, finding out that she and HB had gotten married, I think in Hawaii or something like that, right?
Yep.
And then going and wrapping himself around a tree and paralyzed from the waist down, working with Tarita Bauer. We had scenes in the hospital together, having, they really, researched that well. They had people in the hospital that were disabled, so there were always people to talk to on how to play it. And then the whole thing of Josh moving into the house, that was also the time of the fountain scene. Mm-hmm. That whole time period to me was just, pristine and perfect. It was just wonderful actors, wonderful writers, and great directing, and, the story was just so, so powerful. And I don't know that I have a particular sort of second story after that, because, and I do think that time that you're talking about, we shot those scenes in Marathon Key, Florida, Reva's car driving off the bridge. I do remember, during that time period, there was a real sense of something extraordinary happening. That was also Kim leaving the show. Yeah. And we knew it. I remember a woman talking to me a couple of years after that show, where I was diving down looking for Reva, and she said she was standing behind the couch, clutching her pillow, crying. Aww. And I thought that was the gift of not knowing what's happening, what's going to happen.
Right.
Because by now, or at least in the last 10 years on the show, at least, often the fans do know what's going to happen. They would have
can go online and look at spoilers.
They would have known that Kim was leaving the show. They would have known that was her last episode. And so, but when this woman was describing to me, she had no idea of what was going on with Kim Zimmer's contract or whatever. Mm-hmm. She had no idea of what story had been written. She had no idea of anything that was going on. And I feel like that was an unfortunate loss that's happened with the internet, with faster communication. It's like that surprise element, Yeah,
right.
And the devastation in that case that went with that particular thing. How could Reva be gone? I feel like that was that's been sort of lost over the last few years, and it was a great moment. I'll tell you
I remember.
Now the downside of that was they had me in that water for like 2 or 3 hours, and I had to dive down and grab onto some kind of a plant or something at the bottom of that stretch of water. It was only about 5 or 6 feet deep, and I go down, count to 10. And then come back up because they wanted me to come up in exactly the same spot because that's where the camera was.
Okay.
And the current was so strong that if I didn't do that, I would come up 10 yards downstream. So, and I also remember about shooting that scene. and you can see this on the tape if you go back and look at it. I remember Bruce Berry, our director, was setting the camera for the car to go off the highway, off the